I hope you are doing well this fine Thursday morning today, keeping cool in the heat. Coming to you because there is kind of an urgent situation going on with a court case that you may or may not have heard about, Kwong versus Abdo. And there is a pending deadline. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of getting to everyone with this. This is sort of a recent occurring event. I won't get into all the details of the court case. The bottom line is that there's a case that really was for something completely different. But what came out of this case is that the penalties and interest charged during the COVID period from 2020 through 2022, the end of 2022, um, are being deemed to not be legal. So what this case is saying is that the IRS charged interest and penalties during that period illegally, and so they need to refund those penalties and interest. The case was basically found in favor of the claimant that the IRS basically needs to refund this. The IRS is currently appealing it, and so what they're suggesting, the IRS, taxpayer advocate, all of those, is that anyone who owed money, which means that you had penalties and interest that were occurring during this period, that you file a claim, a protective claim, so that you can receive that money. Okay, so why do we need to do a protective claim? As you may or may not know, when you have money owed to you from the government, you have 3 years to collect that money. So with the extensions and everything that were provided during COVID, the 3 year period to claim that money. So basically they're saying from July 10th, 2026 is the cutoff for when you can you should have basically filed all those returns. So you have 3 years from that date, which would bring us to July 10th, 2026 to claim your money. After that date, in a normal 3 year look back that the IRS does, if you submit a claim for refund for a return that's filed past that cutoff date, they won't refund the money. So what this form is supposed to do is basically protect that claim while this is still going through litigation in the government. Initially, what they were having done was that you had to do the calculations to figure out how much penalties and interest were provided, were paid, or I shouldn't say paid because not everyone paid them, accrued during that period, right? So what that made it a lot more complicated, right? So I've been for the past week or so doing these crazy calculations to come up with the total interest during the period and then condensing it to just the interest during the protective period and then coming up with the number to put on the form to explain why we're filing the form. Now what they've decided in the last hour is that we can just use a generic TBD, right? So but it also kind of puts us up against the deadline. So what I've decided to do is basically show everyone who I know paid taxes during that period how to fill out this form. So you can fill out this form yourself. You just will need to mail it and have it postmarked by tomorrow, which means you have to go to the counter and you have to ask them to postmark it because just the way they've changed the mailing rules, you can't expect that if you drop it or even just use the machine to make it certified that it's going to be postmarked. So you have to go to the counter. And the other thing is you have to complete the form. Okay, so like I said, tight deadline, basically tomorrow. So I'm giving everyone the opportunity to try to just do this on your own, especially if I know that you pay taxes, so that you more than likely would fall under this period. The other thing is if you don't have time, I can do the form. I can only do so many. Caleb and I can't do very many. We can only do so many, but we can do them for you. The last thing I want to mention about this before I show you how to do the form is that these claims are likely going to be denied. So the next stage of this is to file an appeal to continue to protect the claim, right? So just know that if you do the form, you're going to get a letter. You're going to have to either figure out how to do the appeal, or if you need our help, that's going to be an extra service. So what we're offering is to kind of prepare the form and then also handle the appeal part when it comes through. And I'll talk about that later. It'll come through the form that I usually send that has that if we do that for you. If you want to do it yourself, you can go ahead and fill out the form and just kind of see what happens as it happens. Because like this is super fluid. I honestly don't even know exactly that's going to look like. What I do know is that what we've been seeing so far from some of us that have been processing these or a little bit earlier in June, I just kind of start processing toward the end of June, is that we're seeing that they're coming back denied. But that's okay. That's kind of what we're expecting. But then there's the process of doing the appeal. But again, I don't know what that's going to look like, or if there's going to be like a change in the rules like we've seen now, where they're like, okay, you're going to get the denial, but that's okay. We're still going to keep the protective. So to be continued on this saga. But this is where we are. Okay, excuse the crazy writing at the top of this page. I had to use like the little cursor or mouse to write this at the top, but you do want to write at the top of your form, Kwong V United States. It's so bad. Kwong V United States. So all of them need to say that at the top because you can only imagine they're getting so many of these coming in right now. And so, this is an actual IRS form if you do have a request for refund or abatement that people fill out for various reasons throughout the year. So they're getting all these forms. They're trying to differentiate the ones that are just the regular claim for refund that they get and the ones that are specifically related to this case. So be sure to write Kwong V Us at the top. This form, just search 843 form IRS. It'll pop up and you'll get this fillable one just like I'm doing right now. Okay. So you're going to come down to the bottom. You're going to click other. And then we're going to type in, and I am a capital. I do all my stuff for the IRS in caps. Protective claim for refund, abatement of penalty, Kwong V Us. Okay. So that's going to be the same for all the forms. Oh, let me step back just a second. So all total, you're going to file 6 of these forms. I know it's kind of a pain. There's going to be one for the penalties, and they have to be separate for each year, and then one for the interest for each year. So right now I'm going to show you the penalty one, and then we'll come back and change the form, change just the wording so it says interest so you can see. But we'll do one that's completely penalty. Okay. You're going to put your name. So I'm just going to be me. And you're going to put your social security number and your address. You're going to put your apartment number if you have it. And then town, California, 9. Oops, I'm sorry. Put those in the wrong space. CA 9. Okay. Now, if you have a different name or you've been filing with the new address since that time period, you want to put that old address. So let's say I lived at 3 Main Street before. Still in Anytown, California. Then I'm going to put that here. Now, if I was married and I changed my name, then I definitely want to put that name as well. Okay, and then a daytime phone number. Now, if you don't want your number on here, feel free. This is the number I put on all of my IRS correspondence. You can use this number, and it's not a problem. All right, so the first year we're going to do this for is for 2020. Look at me. I'm going to do it today. 2020, right? And then it's going to go through the end of the year because all IRS tax calendar year taxes run through a calendar year. All right, so we're going to do through 1/1/2020 through 12/31/2020, okay? The amount we're going to abate, we don't know. So like I said, they basically recently made it where we don't have to tell them the full abatement amount. We can just put TBD, okay? You're going to ignore these payment lines, totally fine. You're going to click income. We are going to do this for Form 1040. And we're going to use reasonable cause. Okay. And the last thing you need to do is give them an explanation. And let's see, where did I put that one right here? And this is our explanation. Now, I don't think I can copy and paste this into the form, but basically what we're saying is the form is filed as a protective filing for the 2020 penalty claim under IRC. Don't worry about these squigglies if you have to type this in. That just means section. So if you want to like not have those squigglies, just type section instead of that. If you can't copy and paste it, because I'm going to give it to you. And then these are the, actually, I think I want to use the other. Oh wait, I forgot all mine. Give me 1 second here. We're going to use 651 A. Oops. And it's section A, and then the code sections are 1 and 2 of that one. So we're going to use that one as well. The other thing I think let me go back to the form. Okay, let me just go through this first. So filing for 2020 penalty claim under IRC section 665A 1 through 2, 7508, and 7508D, as interpreted in Kwong and Adu, COVID disaster period from 2020 to 2023, must be disregarded in computing penalty accrual. This filing is made protectively to reserve any claim, and the later adjustments or broader interpretations are sustained. Since the legal remains unsettled, the amount of penalty questions may need to be adjusted once the issue is settled. So basically what we're telling them is we're protecting our claim. We know that it's still pending, and we don't know like what the interpretation is going to be, but we just want to say like whatever penalty we paid during that period, if it's disregarded, we want that money either put back to our account or refunded to us if we paid it. And that last part of that is just basically saying, because we put the TBD in there, we are basically telling them we know that amount is going to need to be adjusted because we don't know what it is. We don't know what the interpretation is going to be. So just basically covering all the bases here. Again, I don't think I can paste and copy this whole large thing into here. We'll try. It's not good. Okay, it's kind of there, but it looks funky. I wouldn't never send it like this, but I just have it right there for you can see it. Okay, I've missed one part here. This should be IRC. IRC section 6651 A and 1 through 2. And then we're going to go ahead and hit that 7508 as well. Okay, so per section. This form is kind of limited in its space. It'll stop allowing me to put things in there. So that's why I'm trying to be as succinct as possible. Okay, so that's the first one. So you're going to do this for 2020. You're going to come back and change this and do this for 2021. We also have to change our description down here to 2021. And then we're also going to do a final. I realized I made a little bit of an error on the year for this. I had to come back and redo this piece. So the final one is going to be for 2019. Okay, so originally I said 22, but that's not right. So the years of the claim are 2019, 2020, and 2021 tax years. So why 2019? Because COVID happened in 2020, because we filed our 2019 in the year 2020. So it's tax year. It's not saying calendar year, but tax year. But the tax years do run as a calendar year as opposed to a fiscal year. All right, so just remember for that penalty, we're going to start it at 2019, 2020, and 2021, changing this part of the form and the bottom section where we have the description. Okay, so now let's go back. We are on our form again. Originally, remember this says penalty. Now we are going to change it to interest. And we're going to do the interest form. So remember, just like the penalty form, we're going to have 3 interest forms as well. So a total of 6 forms. Every form is going to say Kwong v. United States in better writing than what my little squiggly mouse could do. But we're going to put it at the top of every form. Everything else is going to be the same. It's going to be your name. Also, I forgot to make the distinction. If you filed your return joint, then you're going to have your spouse on here as well. All right, and then their social. But if you filed single, obviously you're not going to have anything in the second line. But just remember that if you're a joint filer, both need to be there. We're starting in 2019. We're going to be TBD. Let's see. Yeah, we are working on sections 6611 and 7508. So we're fine with this. Actually, no. I think I want to leave the original one that we had there. We'll just leave them all because they all deal with abatement and refunds of penalty. So I think I just want to leave that one and then just add the 6611 at the end. All right, so we're going to do this starting with 2019 because this is the COVID period, COVID filing period. So we go back to our form here. Oops. This should be 5-1. Sorry. So this will be right when I send it to you. So 6651. This is the interest one. 2020. All right. So we're going to do 19 through 21. Let me just kind of move that to here. Years 2019 and 2021. So we know which years we're dealing with, okay? I know it feels confusing. It's just, I don't know why they don't make these things easier, but okay. So this is the description we've copied and we have put it down here. And so we're going to do just the same thing we did on the penalty. We're going to come through and we're just going to change these years to coincide with the years that we're filing this form, okay? 20. All right. All right, so I'm not going to do the last one, but of course it's going to be 21. Now we're going to come to the bottom where all these lines are. All you're going to do is you're going to sign in this space right here, put your signature and date it. This doesn't matter because we're not filing. But I would say if you do have the IRS PIN, just put it in there. But that's usually for e-filing. But so we should be fine. All right, so we're going to put that. Again, if you file jointly for any of those tax years, you're going to put both of those. Both people have to sign and date this. Don't worry about the paper pair or not paper pairing this thing. So that can be blank. And those are the only things that you need to fill out. So let me just go in summary. It's Kwong V Us at the top of every page. We are clicking the other protective claim for refund abatement of either penalty or interest. Remember, depending on which one we're doing. All of our personal information, the years in question, 2019 through 2021. We're going to pick which one it is. TBD, we don't know the amount. It's income tax. It's 1040. These are the codes we're working on. They're listed on the description in case you need them. And reasonable cause is what we're gonna use. Okay. And that's that as far as the form. Now, I'm going to come here and just give you information about this. So as I mentioned, the deadline is tomorrow, July 10th, 2026. You're going to take it to the counter, send it certified. So they'll put the little certified little label on there for you, or you can put it on yourself. Have it postmarked. Tell them you need a postmark and mail it no later than tomorrow. I was at the post office. I've been at the post office every day this week, but I was there yesterday and I was asking about that. Like, as long as we get this postmark, is there going to be an issue? I know there's been some change, or the government's talked about changing how things are postmarked because of all the other political reasons, not because of us and this whole IRS thing. But I just want to make sure like that we're not going to be in a pickle. And so as far as I was told at the post office, we should still be fine. It will likely be delivered later, which is fine, but as long as we have a postmark, we'll be good. So super important, go to the counter, certified and postmarked. I am a little particular. I like to send every one of them separate. I know that means $6 per separate one you're sending, but here's my reason. We stuff them all in one envelope, which you can do. It's up to you. It's up to you. You can put them all in one envelope and mail them. I just worry that You're going to get someone perhaps at the IRS that's tired of opening all these letters and they may miss one of your claims. So if they kind of the staples get stuck together or something like that, they may miss it. So I'd rather have one of my claims missed than every single one of my claims missed in the event that it gets lost. It shouldn't because it's certified, but still, you never know. Um, so I don't like to take the chance. Oh man, I think my computer's coming unplugged here. And then the other thing is I just like to just give it the best chance of more of them getting there in the event something happens. I don't know. I'm super err on the side of caution kind of mentality with things. But again, it's certified. It should get there. I just think about the employee that may not process one of the six or may see it's stuck together and they think they process them both. Like it's the IRS, like anything can happen. So if you're like me, just send six different envelopes and have them certified and pay the money, just for the peace of mind. The last thing is where to send it to. So they are going to get mailed to this address in Utah. Why did it appear right there? It's so weird. Okay. So in IRS, Rulon White Boulevard in Ogden, Utah. And that's where it's going. Okay, so these are the instructions to do the form. Like I mentioned, the way we've been seeing it, they've been getting rejected, which we expect. And you'll probably get notification for that. And then after that, there will be steps to be taken. So I'm going to send this along with this video, this page that has the information on what to put in the boxes. As well as I'll send a link over in the event that you're just like, I don't have the time or the energy. We can do these. Like I said, we can't do a lot of them with a bunch of them in. I'm just going to cut off that part of the form where that won't be an option. We can't get them all done in time to get them postmarked by the time the post office closes tomorrow if there's too many. Okay. So that's that. I hope everyone's well. I hope this information is helpful. Fill it out and protect your claim at the very least. The last thing I wanted to say, that's done, then I just remembered something. Okay. If you have a business that you perpetually file late for, then put your business in here as well. Okay. Use these Social Security boxes. Unless no, you wouldn't need to do this if you're filing a Schedule C. This is only if you have a partnership or a corporation or an S corp. Then you're going to put your employer EIN number in this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, got it. It's going to be there. Okay, so that's an option too. But again, this is only if you have partnership. There's usually not taxes in partnership, but if you filed it late, there was probably taxes and penalties. What was that? Oh, even worse. Partnership. S corp. Again, no taxes usually on S corp unless you filed it late, and then a regular corporation. So these would be the only ones that would be subject to any kind of penalty or interest abatement during that period. But again, it's only if, in the case of these pass-throughs, these first two, that you habitually have filed late and you filed during that period. That's the other thing you have to make clear is that it's not going to work if you filed your 2020 return in 2024. It doesn't work for that. It only works if you filed perhaps your 2020 return in 2021, right? And then you had some interest and penalties that came from that. So that would be what I would say to that. Yeah, if you have questions, let me know. Hopefully I covered everything. Have a good one.